Afternoon, Hemant.
Good afternoon, Girish.
Yeah, Hemant, the whole concept that we are trying to now look at is that we have heard our speakers before us speak at length about multiple aspects of how warehousing is going to change going forward, about how they have managed to survive this particular impact. What I would like to start with in our chat, and since we are looking at what is going to be the future of warehousing, what is the future direction it's going to take, if you could give us your view on how has it impacted industry, your market in India, and what are the challenges and opportunities that you see in the warehousing sector in India?
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, let me thank you, SCM Institute, for inviting Greenways Industrial Parks to be a part of this wonderful webinar session on warehousing ecosystem. Also, special thanks to Girish, you, Rakesh, and the entire team at SCM for providing this wonderful platform for all supply chain professionals to interact. This is something which I always look forward to be a part, because I can interact with everyone from the industry. So once again, despite the challenging situation that we are in, thank you for arranging this thing. Appreciate it. Let me say that I really don't need to stress now that the economic impact of the 2020 coronavirus pandemic in India has been very largely disruptive and something that has been completely unprecedented. Let me give some numbers. You know, we all know, but these are stressful numbers. But we need to understand them. Growth in the fourth quarter of the fiscal year has been down by 3.1%. Within a month, the unemployment from 6.7% in March has gone up to 26% in April, and I think it's going up every day. We're seeing cases rising. This is something which we have never ever experienced before. During the lockdown, we've seen an estimated 14 crore people having lost employment. People's salaries have been cut. So more than 45% of households across the nation have reported an income drop. So there is no spending happening. There's a complete scene where nothing is. We are not sure where this is going to lead to. We see sectors like banking, hospitality, tourism, hotels, airlines, and a few others which are taking a huge hit. And I think they're going to struggle in the long term as well as in the short term as well as the long term. I honestly feel that it's going to be a really long time for them to come out of this glut and be back on the course that they were initially. But you know, as it always happens with every I would say bad situation, there's always a silver lining to the clouds. And in this, I think two major industries which I feel which will really benefit out of this whole pandemic issue will be the pharma industry, maybe over the short term, but warehousing, logistics, industrial, e-commerce is one industry that is really going to see a big boom. It's a relatively new industry, and I think it's been growing, but with this, it's going to grow much faster. The whole consolidation process, as somebody else on the panel, I think Anup mentioned that this whole consolidation thing is going to accelerate very fast. Today, I think one thing that we have learned is the general shift in people's behavior. We have now learned to live with everything being ordered online. I think this was something that is a huge shift in people's style of behaving, and it has happened in a very extremely short period. So and all these people, customers, are looking for instant gratification, which means that business houses have to really guarantee speed and quality of delivery. That only is going to sustain them in the long-term future. So it looks like the advent of, you know, we had this Japanese JIT and just in time and just in sequence in the manufacturing space. This is, I think, something which will also into the e-commerce and warehousing, logistics, supply chain space as well. Another thing that I feel is and the challenge, if you really look at it from a challenge perspective of what this is going to be, the entire supply chain at the back end, which was relatively ignored, will have to be really ramped up and made very strong, sharp, focused, efficient, and as well as resilient, because the front end is now missing at the moment. Everything is happening from the back end. Your deliveries, your storage systems, everything is being served from the back end, which means there will be increased automation. We'll look at digitalization in the warehousing space, and lot of dependency on technology enabled and embedded with artificial intelligence and analytics capabilities. So this is something that I feel that a lot of 3PL companies, a lot of FMCG companies are going to adopt this as they try to overcome these challenges. I think overall vacancy is expected to reduce in the present term, as major players are finding it very difficult to have warehouses at multiple locations, because earlier we were having this whole concept of a DC. We moved from, there was a period after GST that we moved to a hub and spoke, and a big DC at one place, and then relatively small. But I think with this, we'll have that earlier concept also being there, because we need smaller warehouses at multiple locations as well to overcome this inter-district movement. And on the rental front, I feel that there's a little push and pull that is expected to happen, which is obvious, because customers are always going to demand that. I know there are a few 3PL players over here, and we have been getting this request on abatement and deferment of rentals, so which is expected. But on the long term, I think it is not going to be having a long term effect. The markets are competitive, and which were always there. But I think with this, one thing that is really going to happen is the correction in the land prices. There is hardly any liquidity in the system. A lot of landowners who are banking land were just sitting on that, hoping that to appreciate. I think that dream is not going to be there anymore. Land prices have to come down. They are going to crash because people have to do distress selling at this point of time, and this is something that I look at as an opportunity for developers, warehousing spaces, which will effectively translate into developers giving lesser rental numbers to their occupiers. Acceleration of consolidation. I think Anoop mentioned that the acceleration of consolidation is going to happen. One more thing that I feel is going to happen because of this thing is that earlier we were always focused on metros, tier 1 cities, the Delhi, Mumbai, and Calcutta, Bangalore. The growth was around there only, the warehousing. I think with this, the tier 2 and tier 3 cities are going to open up. So you take like Patna or Bhubaneswar or Guwahati or Coimbatore. So these tier 2, tier 3 cities are also going to be now looking at demand for warehousing space. One more thing that I feel is that, we're hearing a lot of things about, coming back, this is about warehousing, coming back to industrial, the manufacturing, which is something we are looking forward to, because that's the economic driver. It creates a lot of jobs for everybody. We're hearing about a lot of countries redefining their manufacturing base geographically and moving to less riskier, more friendlier. I want to be very politically correct over here and not make any incorrect political statements which can cause furor, and tax efficient bases. So amongst all of this, if we really look, India is placed brilliantly. We have the best tax efficient structure. We have a growing population which is young, which is educated. We have everything that it needs to invite these multinationals to set up their bases in India. And this is where I look at as a huge opportunity opening up for India. I think this is a one-time opportunity that has come to us. We need to grab it. need to really grab it with all our hands. The government needs to do that. I see that a lot of efforts are happening from government organization to do this thing. The speed with which the only challenge where I feel over here is the speed with which we can grab this opportunity and the infrastructure that is necessary to create the base or the foundation for the companies to set up bases in India. So this I feel is between the challenges and opportunities and what I see as a long-term scenario for industrial and warehousing spaces due to this pandemic.
Yeah, very interesting. You did cover almost the entire spectrum of it. In fact, you also went on to handle quite a bit of the potential changes that you see coming up in the warehouse space requirements. Hemant, I have a very interesting. In fact, some of the people did touch on it also. This was on labor not being available when they needed it to be. We had some conversations on this aspect, and industrial spaces, or rather than industrial spaces, I would like to borrow your own term of integrated townships. They become a lot more attractive to a person wanting to set up a business. The businesses will be closed. The lifestyle. How do you see this panning out? What are the kind of efforts that you're seeing on this direction?
If I would say that what are the changes that are required for warehousing spaces, or how this whole thing is going to pan out, a clear trend that has emerged is definitely the scarcity of manpower. Migrant people are going back. If you look at Bhiwandi, or if you look at any manufacturing destination, I am regularly visiting our project in Talegaon. During this lockdown, I've managed to get my passes, and I'm seeing a lot of industries are closed. That's because the people are not available. If we have this concept of an industrial park, which is having the as an integrated, if I understand the question right, if you're saying that how can integrated industrial areas can contribute to this situation, is that what you really meant to ask?
Yes. How will integrated townships solve the problems that we were talking of?
Yeah, absolutely. So Greenways actually is a joint venture between Hiranandani, and I'm stressing because, and I'm bringing up this point about we being part as a company, Hiranandani company, and joint venture with Blackstone. Hiranandani has been doing integrated townships for last 4 decades. We've built integrated townships in Powai, we have built integrated townships in Thane, Panvel. Wherever we have gone, we have built integrated township, which means a sustainable ecosystem where everything is available from you can take from living, from housing for senior people, for affordable housing, for workers. Then you have the amenities. It's just not a single building. You have schools, you have hospitals, you have shopping places. So everything that is needed as an ecosystem to survive or to which is needed to thrive is available within a closed boundary. As an addition to this, what we have created, we have brought in this industrial part or the last link of the puzzle, which was missing always. We felt that if we get the industrial warehousing and if we build something which is where people can work as well as simultaneously stay, that will be complete. So based on this whole ideology, we are building integrated industrial parks. So the manufacturing places, the logistics places will be built around your township. So you get everything in which you need to stay and be there. If you see in India, I mean, somebody mentioned about, I think Anoop mentioned in the previous session that they were able to quickly organize the people because they were from the close vicinity. Now just imagine if you have your people staying close by rather than depending on anything, you really there is no need for a lockdown. Even in a lockdown, because you're in a proper area which is properly contained, your operations, nothing stops. You can prolong, and that is exactly what has happened for us on our industrial parks. We are into the phase of development. Because we have lots of spaces, we have had our laborers and our workers staying on site, and believe me, we have lost hardly any days. We have maintained the social distancing. We have maintained all the essential things that we need to do to follow the COVID restrictions, and we have been able to work as well. We have a hospital, so people have been given medical facilities just in case something has happened. There is school, the workers are able to put their children to school, or so this is how the whole we have been able, despite the lockdown, we have been able to continue our business seamlessly.
Thank you, Hemant. I think with that we are also at the end of our allotted time. But I think it was very wonderful looking at how the future, as you have described, the future of not just warehousing, but the future of industry, of even corporates wanting to move to a self-contained township has got a lot of advantages. And I think we were also discussing when you said that it also could help alleviate attrition, because when you have everything around you,
Absolutely.
when you have everything around you, there is, yeah.
And one more point is, the social satisfaction, the life satisfaction. Today, even in any of the cities you go, whether it's a metro or a tier 2, you generally your working spaces and residential spaces are spaced far away. People are spending at least 1 hour minimum on one side, so 2 to 3 hours on a journey to go to work and then get back. By the time people are coming back, they are completely exhausted. And in Mumbai, you have the massage which happens on the trains. So people are exhausted. By the time you're returning, you're completely collapsed. There is no time for interacting with the families. Here is where we are bringing about this change. We feel that our integrated townships, which will provide living places right next to the working places, schools, hospitals, everything close by, will enable people to have a better future, a more healthier life, a more enjoyable experience. And this is what we are trying to create across India on all our industrial parks.
Thank you, Hemant. That was indeed wonderful. Yeah. Thank you very much. It was fantastic hearing you again. We have been sharing these thoughts quite often. And I also want to thank you for your support to Institute of Supply Chain Management and the warehousing virtual symposium that we're doing today, and also to the compendium. Thank you very much, Hemant. We will continue our discussions offline.